Welcome to the Face-to-Face. I'm your host, Genevieve Kyle-Lefebvre. Face-to-Face is a bilingual series of video recorded here in Coquitlam. We acknowledge that Coquitlam is located on the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Coquitlam First Nation, who continue to care for these lands, waters, and all living things. Today, I am sitting with Nina Buddhdev, founder and producer of the Bandish Network. Welcome, Nina.
Hi.
I'm so happy to have you with
Thank
me.
you.
We saw you at the Place des Arts not that long ago, and you created the Art of Sorode concert that was so beautiful. I loved the interviews I did there. Thank you so much for doing this at Place des Arts on Tri-Cities. It was such a beautiful event. I think it's a great way to start today.
Yeah, thank you. That's the last time we saw you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about the Bandish Network. So tell me, what is the Bandish Network?
So Bandish, it's spelled Bandish, but it's pronounced Bandish, as you're so rightly doing. And it actually means the intertwining of musical notes, emotive suggestions, expressions, all coming together from different spaces and different creative domains to actually create one language of harmony, which is usually sung as a song. So Bandish actually started as my own personal call for connection when I moved here in 2003.
Okay.
So having been the former producer of the South Bank Centre and other venues in London, I came here and I felt really disconnected from my work. So I thought, I wonder if there's other people in this kind of space. So I just created a group and put it out there. And it kind of went from 3 to 20 to 7,000. And I thought, okay.
There's a need. And that group is on Facebook, am I right?
It's a Facebook group right now. And I'm also joining hands with other platforms where I can collaborate on their platforms and just be integrated in their platforms. So one thing I did not want to do with this network is make it a silo, because I felt that there are enough silos and that the whole point of the network is to dismantle the silo mindset. And so, and obviously a lot of people feel that way. So that's why there's 7,000 people on there. But I'm at a stage now where I'm thinking, okay, I've got 7,000 members on this. What do I do with you all? Because I wasn't really expecting this, this is just for my own personal kind of need to connect, to feel connected. So I could carry on and be positive and be creative. And so my log line on the group is to connect, empower, and create, because I think that's the order of our process. We feel connected, we feel empowered, we get more creative, and so that's what Bandish is. And now I am producing through it. So I started producing in 2015 here in the Tri-Cities, and then that went off into different projects around the country, and especially in the US. I did some partnerships there in the Bay Area. And recently, as you were there, we did another local concert here after many years. And you saw the reception there. It was quite beautiful.
Very busy, beautiful.
Yeah,
yes.
And it goes beyond getting the bums on the seats. It goes beyond that. It enters a very authentic domain of engagement, I feel. And that has always been something I'm very valued about, because, did I say that, valued about? I find very valuable, because I think it's one thing getting people to come and sit and watch something, and it's another thing enticing somebody's will to want to come to something and actually lose themselves in it. Because that whole process is something different.
What does Bandish mean?
As I said, it's an intertwining of words, emotions, expressions, musical notes, and languages all coming together.
Okay.
So to bind people, to connect people, to gather is Bandish. So it's literally doing this, Bandish, but allowing people to be where they are, who they are. Right? So it's not a restriction, it's not a constraint. It's a Bandish as in we are a chain,
Yeah, okay, I love it. I love it. So you did touch on why you started the Bandish Network. Did you start it also with your family or friends around you? You said you started one person, but tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it was just me thinking, I'm wondering if anybody else wants to really know more about the heritage arts, if people are practicing it. Because at that time I was active in my own dance practice, and my son was a baby, and he was a baby with speech delays. So I was using my art forms, as has been passed down to me through our family, to heal him. And it was working. And so that was the other parallel to me wanting to feel connected with an artistic community, because I know the arts is not just about something beautiful to go and experience, but it does have the healing component to it, which people don't even realize that they've absorbed until they've absorbed it, you know, until it's digested. So it started with me, just my family, then some close friends, and then it just kind of energetically attracted people. And I'm pleased to say that up to now, people have just come back with feedback that how they enjoy the transparency of it. So I did become a not-for-profit organization for a little while, thinking I'll get a grant and I can do this, that, and the other. And then I realized that people were feeling a bit more aware of me, because I was actually on the competitive line with them, with other not-for-profits. And I thought, this is not the essence of why I set up the Bandish Network. I did not set it up for my own personal agenda, but more for a bigger foresight, a wider picture. So why be in the competitive space, you know, when I could be in the collaborative, nurturing space,
giving space, and
the nurturing space. Yeah, it is coming from the mum's heart, so to speak. And I'm pleased to say I've nurtured a lot of artists.
Yes, absolutely. Now, how do you get to help people with the Bandish Network?
So after I did the productions in 2015, which was a Culture Days ambassador project for me. So my son was, I think he was about 9 at the time, and he was settling in his, you know, education, and he was healing very well. So I thought, okay, now I want to take this out to the world. So I was awarded as the ambassador for Culture Days for that year, and I produced a series of programs. And in the series of programs, I invited all the artists who were part of my network at that time, which was only about 2,000 members. And I gave them a platform to perform, to interact with people. And it was a different engagement model, because I actually had to coach them on how to connect with the world as well. Because being an artist is great, but sometimes you are totally in your own world as an artist. And then you complain about not feeling connected or engaged. So I had to coach them, mentor them, that if you really want the world to know your art, your craft, and why you do it, and you want to feel that connection from here, from the heart center, then you also have to make the effort. And there are things you have to tweak. And you have to be open-minded to different people asking different questions, and not ever feeling offended by them, but actually just accepting people where they are, and appreciating the fact that when people ask questions, there's an investment there of interest. We can either complain about it, thinking, oh, why did they ask me that question? Or we can say, wow, I got these questions. It shows that there is an appetite for knowledge.
Yes, I can see this. So what do you think is the impact on the Tri-Cities, like from being involved or being part of the Bandish Network?
I think it's just raising awareness, mainly, and also raising the bar in terms of cultural representation. Because I've been to some events in the Tri-Cities, and I sometimes have to say awfully embarrassed by how some of the cultural arts are represented. And we need to honor that every community is evolving. And we need to honor that every community is doing so much work in their own subsects to advance their crafts. And when we have a public engaging event, that's what we need to show. not something that was like stuck in the 60s, you know, which is all great work for that time. But we need to show the progression that people are making on all sorts of levels, be it artistic, intellectual capacity, community building, professional entrepreneurialism, and personally. So, and that is how I feel you gain community loyalty. I feel that's how people feel invested, you know, in a society, and they feel safe to share their craft without the idea that, okay, it's going to be dumbed down. So the idea that any artist has to dumb themselves down to fit in is to me awfully painful, because I have been there, I've experienced that. And the flip side to that is that people can become awfully aggressive in their approach to public engagement. And I think that's the danger, that's what happens, because there's a passive aggressive kind of feeling there, and need not be, really. And it's just an engagement model, it's a mindset revolution of thoughts. And I think the city, the civic groups and societies can really benefit from engaging with experts in the community. Because we often feel, why have you represented the cultures that live here so poorly, only for them to want to go past an event doing this, feeling embarrassed? Why not do the other way and you know, reach out to the experts and get the best possible representation, so everyone's reputation raises and everyone's spirit rises, and we all, you know, feel that we are doing the right thing by each other, rather than trying to represent something we don't know. Like, don't ask me to organize a rock concert. I'd do a terrible job because I have no knowledge of that. So why be shy of saying that?
Exactly, right? So who is the Bandish Network's helps? I'm talking youth, elderly, anyone in the middle?
Yeah, everyone. So on my network, which is a collective, as I call it, I have patrons of the arts. I have a lot of elders in the community, which is an elders initiative that I run, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And then I have next gen artists. So the three subsects that have come out the collective, one is called Nadi. Nadi means in Sanskrit women. And it's all to highlight women in music and dance, because it is awfully male dominated, the field that I'm in, and I have experienced that all my life, in 30 years plus in the career, that men think they make the better decisions. And yeah, sometimes they do, most of the time not. And so I have a program called the Nadi, which is highlighting the works of women of color in the arts, and also coaching them to have a progressive feel on this. And then I have the youth next generation initiative, which is highlighting younger people doing their craft, as you saw at that show. And then we have the honoring our elders, which is something very precious to me, because I feel there are so many community groups in the Tri-Cities who've been living here for 40 plus years, whose elders have championed a lot of progressive ideas in terms of cultural engagement, yet they've never been known of, they've never been honored, recognized. And one such personality in this city has been with me since I moved here. And he was the BBC correspondent for Asian Services in Hong Kong. And then I met him when he moved here. And him and his family were a very local Coquitlam-based family. And he was my inspiration to producing local events of different cultures in their authenticity, without diluting the content, to think that the audience will like it more if it's diluted. Actually not. The audience loves content, cultural content, when it's at its best. So we don't need to insult the intelligence of our audiences, nor our artists, nor our patrons. There's no need to do that. And we have so many experts in the community, and I would love for them all to be engaged on civic decisions as well. and citywide festivals. I'd love to curate a regular segment in a citywide festival, which brings all this amazing experience to one stage and so beautifully, and all these people will come, and together we all gain prestige for that, because there's a respect for the city, for the city's content, for people like myself who may be driving it, and the participants. Mm-hmm. So yeah, honoring our elders is a legacy project which I have just started to market, and I'm working with not-for-profit organizations, anyone who wants to get involved really, to honor that elder in their community. And the legacy part of it is where the family starts to put some funding under that person's name towards the arts advancement in the city. So it's an investment from all angles, and it's a model that I've designed, and I'm looking for more people to work on that with.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about what kind of event you created in 2024, and also if there's anything coming in 2025. So let's start with what happened last year.
Yeah, so last year we did mainly a lot of research because we weren't active, because we didn't have the partnerships at that time. So from 2015, we did a whole range of activities. 2018, we did the Juno Fest celebrations. 2022, 23, we did a little less. We've been working with the Surrey Civic Theatres there to get some programming going. And last year you're asking about, and I can't remember what I did, but I just really can't remember. But 25, we just recently did the Art of Sarod, and later this year we're doing a program called Tatkar. And Tatkar is a footwork in the dance style of Kathak. Kathak is a traditional Indian classical dance style. And for some reason, BC's attract so many of these dancers lately, and I'm meeting all these dancers everywhere.
That's
and
so
I say,
great.
What style do you do? And they say, we do Kathak. And I'm thinking, why are you all here? I said, we don't know, but we're just attracted to BC. So I think BC needs to have a Kathak festival.
Well, looks like it, right? Yeah. Wow, that's so great. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So that will be, do you have a date for us?
Yeah. Not yet, yes. We're trying to do monthly gatherings for that, so people can actually try the dance style before, to actually learn about it and to actually feel the movement in their body, because there's a huge benefit from the dance form on the lymphatic system, on the feedback system. So we're trying to get together some workshops, and I'm looking for venues there who can host us for a 2-hour workshop once a month in different communities. And then when we do put on a show and people see that advertised, they're not estranged to it. They thought, okay, I tried this and it was real fun. I'm going to buy a ticket and go to the show. Mm-hmm. Or the other way around.
Yes. That's great. So which organization do you work with?
Mainly municipal theatres, as I said, Surrey Civic Theatres. I've worked with art centres, and I work for not-for-profit organisations too, of which there are many in BC. Every time, I put a call out for collaboration, I get a number of requests from new not-for-profits who've been set up and they want to collaborate. And then we find a space and we do our thing.
Oh, that's so great. So how do you measure your impact on the community, on the Tri-Cities?
Well, for me, the measure is by doing more collaborative projects with established organizations, because they have the systems in place, right? They have the surveying systems, although of course it's not, none of it's hard to set up. But why set something up which is already established? Why reinvent the wheel?
Oh, absolutely.
And use your personal resources and lose out on the potential of engagement there. So I like to work with established organizations because they have the systems. I am myself an expert in what I do, and they are experts in what they do. So when we combine the skills, we've got this beautiful formula for engagement and evaluation, monitoring, improvement, and then reinvestment. Do
you feel like the social media era has changed your life? Because this is possible because of a group that was created on Facebook.
Yeah, social media has changed.
I mean, I say yours, but it could be the community also.
Yeah, I think it's changed the digestion capacity of the arts generally, because there's information overload, you know, and I think there is an apathy that has set in since the online streaming has become even more accessible, I suppose, where people don't want to go out to experience something. They could live stream it. So as convenient as it is, it of course has its dangers. So that actually puts us in a situation where we have to be really creative in how we deliver a program. It cannot be as simple as there's this show, buy a ticket, come and do your own thing after. There has to be more engagement, creativity. And these are the models that I have been working on. And these are the models I want to try and activate with the city's support, with venue support, with gallery, museum support. I serve on the advisory council of the BCMA, which is the BC Museums Association. And engagement is something that we always talk about, because engagement has changed. We need to be creative, we need to innovate, but we also need to be really receptive to the cultural nuances in our cities, to make sure that the venues that are established are identifiable. And what I mean by that is 20 years ago when I moved here, I'd walk into my local cultural center and open the brochure and see that there's nothing there that I can actually feel that I identify with. And I thought, well, that's fair enough for now, because the South Asian, the Indus Valley and the Pan-South Asian community was very small in the Tri-Cities at that time. Now it's huge. And I know that because I'm the admin for the group and I've seen it grow. So now we need things in the we need content, representation that is identifiable for them. So that is true equity, that is true inclusion. Otherwise, there is an exclusive element, which is not challenged. No one's got time to challenge it because everyone's busy looking after family, looking after kids, doing kids' activities and doing life. But me being in my work, I see it. And when I see it, I do bring it up in the committees that I've sat on. And I'm really pleased to say that Coquitlam's been so receptive to these ideas. And I've just started working on various plans with local centres. And the receptivity is there. It's knowing how to activate it, how to bring it into fruition. And because that is an art in itself. And we don't need people to tread on eggshells culturally. We just need to know who to work with and how to put it out there. Timing is important because there's so many festivals going on in various cultures.
Yes. And
there are so many different cultural nuances that we need to be aware of. We do not need to be experts in everything, but we just need to be aware. Absolutely. And that brings me full circle back to the engagement of community champions.
Absolutely. And that goes full circle back to my question, because I want to talk about volunteers. Do you need volunteers if someone wants to volunteer, or can they help? How's that work?
Yeah, I would love some more help because I've grown so much so quickly. There are so many assets that I need. Like I need a website. I don't have a website for Bandish, so I need something like that. But yes, I would love some expertise and some help. And if people want to volunteer in also giving me their feedback on the models that I've designed, I'd love a different take on that, because we need a lot of different perspectives to make one model sustainable.
Yeah, I can see that. And now, what's the hope for the Bandish Network? What's the hope? What do we want to accomplish? What's happening in the future? What's coming?
Yeah, the hope is to collaborate as much as possible. I would like to see a flood in the market saying such and such program in collaboration with the Bandish Network. Because with the Bandish Network comes 7,000 people who are amazing at what they do. So it's not a singular collaboration. I don't really wish for such and such with collaboration with one person's name, or even a not-for-profit organization that could be 5 people. Because again, that carries its risks of exclusivity. And within a system of diversification, we don't want to get into the complexities of creating further barriers when we're trying to dismantle barriers. So the idea of collaborating with a network means there's open access to so many different ideas, practices, genres, age ranges. As I said, I've got the women of color in arts, I've got the honoring our elders, and I've got the next gen. So there are 3 streams right there, you know, and I think it builds confidence in communities to collaborate in a family rather than a silo.
Nina, before I let you go, I'd like you to talk to me about your Chai initiative. We touched on it a little bit before we started recording. I'd like it if you could share with us.
Sure, yeah. Chai stands for Classical Heritage Arts Initiative. And it's something I've developed with the Canadian Association of Performing Arts, which is called Kapakoa. They're based in Ontario. I've just recently come back from their national network meeting in Ottawa, which was really lovely. They made me feel so welcome, and I was a presenter there. And I was presenting the Chai project there to regional networks across Canada who can bring the Chai project to their conferences. And by bringing the project to their conferences, they get a segue and a methodology, really, on how to engage with the cultural groups in their vicinity. So that is a long-term project. We've only just started it in November last year. So that's what I was busy with last year when you asked
Yes,
me.
all right.
It was that, yeah. I had my head buried in that. And so, yeah, that's really exciting. That's going to continue on a national level. And there are going to be parts of that we can bring to regional levels and local levels. So what I like about that, it's consistent. And it can support itself, so to speak. You know, and it's one platform called Chai, which everyone loves, and everyone can enjoy that.
Oh, it's so lovely. Nina, you're known nationally. Can you touch on this a little bit?
Well, because I was producing in England for some of the really top-notch productions, like the BBC Proms.
We get to know some secrets now. I like it.
I get shy now.
That was a good question.
So a lot of the artists who I worked with were like masters, and their children know me. So when they come to Canada, they kind of, you know, say, "Hey, I'm here. What are you doing?" And so we try and work together at that time. You know, people like Pandit Ravi Shankar's daughter, Anushka. I've been a pre-concert speaker for her at the Chan Centre a few years back. And it's really lovely. I get really shy about it because I think people here may not understand what I used to do because Canada's culturally evolving pace is slower to Europe. Okay. And we know that. And we have to work with people where they are. But I think we're really getting ready now, you know, to recognize world-class artists, which is amazing. So that's what I used to do, and that's what I plan to do here.
Amazing. Nina, if someone wants to reach you, where can they find you?
Yeah, they can WhatsApp me, email me.
You're on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I'm on
Facebook,
LinkedIn.
on the group?
Yeah, on the group. The Bandish Network is on the group.
Okay, let's spell it for me.
BANDISH Network.
Perfect.
So that's a page and a group, and LinkedIn is good. I check LinkedIn often, and otherwise just email me.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
I've seen it myself, so it was very lovely to witness. Not only like the artists, the artists are amazing, but the people are happy. People, like, I could see it was like. They were centered. They really had a good time, and it was a really good space. It was really healthy.
That's the yogic part of the art
so
form.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me today, and keep shining.
Thank you.
From the Tri-Cities Community Television and myself, Geneviève Kyle Lefebvre, thank you so much for joining us today.